Good morning. Today is April 22nd, 2020, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the lesson. So, per usual, go ahead and prepare your resources for today. You are going to need something to write with, paper, and dictionary.com. Take about 30 to 45 seconds to gather those resources. Okay, so today's objective is students will be able to understand the purpose of diction and the effect that it has on tone and mood in literature. So we will be continuing the lesson from yesterday. I saw that we did very well on the exit ticket from yesterday. If you haven't gotten that in, you do need to get it in. But almost all of us have it in, and the results look very well overall. And so I'm going to go ahead and continue on extending on this lesson and introducing to you all the idea of diction, which I know that not many of us are familiar with. Before we do that, however, I'm going to go ahead and get you started with some vocab today. You have 3 words that I want you to look up today. Very important that you know these 3 words for your independent practice. And so I may not be going over the words with you during this lesson, but when you get to the independent portion on your own for the assignment today, you do need to know these 3 words. The first one is jardinier. Um, that is a French word, but you will be able to find it on dictionary.com. Again, it's jardinier. Your next word is obstinate. That is obstinate. And your last word is empathetic, which I think most of us know this, but just to go ahead and clarify, I want you to look it up again. And it never hurts to practice those dictionary skills. So I'm going to give you some time to go ahead and look up these 3 words and write them in your notes. I'm not going to give you like a full 3 or 4 minutes, but you are free to pause this video while you take time. I'll give you about 30 seconds to 1 minute of this video to go ahead and start to look up the words before I continue on. Okay, and so like I said, our structure is going to be changing now that we are done with the Midsummer Night's Dream, and we're going more into preparing you for your writing as well next year. And so we are going to be doing our grammar workshops and our revising and editing with every lesson. And so I want to continue the grammar workshop from yesterday, and that's going over nouns. If you refresh yourself with your notes from yesterday, you know that we learned that a noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. And then you also learned about 2 different types of nouns, which were proper nouns and common nouns. If you remember, a proper noun is a noun that names a specific person, place, thing, or idea, whereas a common noun is general. For example, a common noun would be friend, but if you wanted to make that a proper noun, you would then give it a specific name. So instead of friend, you may say Susan, and that would make it a proper noun. Same with restaurant is a common noun, but to make it proper, you may say Canes. And so now, adding on to more to know about nouns today, you need to know that a pronoun replaces a noun or a noun phrase. So you have nouns that are, person, place, thing, or idea. But to go on with that, you also have pronouns, which you can use to replace a noun. And I'm going to show you what that looks like now. Go ahead and take a moment to write this down in your notes. Okay, so Over here, you have your personal pronoun chart. There's different types of pronouns. I'm not going to get too into detail with the specifics, but I will tell you that today we're going to be focusing on that first column. These are the pronouns we're going to focus on today. We will focus on all of them at some point, but these are the ones that I want you to know for now. So, I, we, you, he, she, and they are all pronouns. And so, what we're going to do to practice using those, so again, pronouns replace nouns, is we are going to look at the three sentences I'm going to present to you now. And for each proper noun that you see, you're going to change it into a pronoun on your own paper. And so, remember, proper nouns are specific names, and pronouns replace them. And you're going to be replacing them using the ones in the left column, which are I, we, you, he, she, and they. So, for example, I'll do the first one for you. Anna was not sure if she wanted to go to the movies or to the skate park. And so, looking at that, the first thing I'm going to do is identify where's my proper noun. So, where do I see a specific name? I see a specific name in Anna. So, I know that Anna is a specific name. So, then I'm going to go look over here to my chart and I'm going to ask myself, which pronoun could I use to replace Anna? So after looking at all of these, I know that Anna, because Anna is a girl, I can replace Anna with she. So instead of saying Anna was not sure if she wanted to go to the movies or to the skate park, I would say she was not sure if she wanted to go to the movies or to the skate park. All right, let's try one on our own. Claire, Emma, and Jake all wore matching Christmas sweaters for the holiday party. So go ahead and take a moment and change your proper noun into a pronoun using the pronouns in the left column. And so your first step would have been to identify your proper nouns, which we have multiple here. We have Claire, Emma, and Jake. And so you're going to look in your pronoun chart and say, what do I do when I have more than one? It's plural. When you look at plural, you only have two options. You have we and you have they. So we know that when you're saying we, you're including yourself. However, we do not see that the person speaking is including themselves. And so it's safe to say that we can replace Claire, Emma, and Jake with they. They all wore matching Christmas sweaters for the holiday party. You should have something like this on your paper. And let's try one final one together. Sydney, Marie, and myself have been friends since first grade. So again, this is another plural one. You have two options to choose from. And so what could we replace Sydney, Marie, and myself with? Go ahead and write it on your paper in a complete sentence. Okay, and so identifying Sydney, Marie, and myself as your proper nouns, you know that you can eliminate these and you should have replaced it with we because you are including yourself. So when you include myself, it's we. We have been friends since first grade. Hopefully you got all of those right. If not, go ahead and make your your corrections to the story. Oh gosh, not to the story, to the sentences. Sorry, y'all, I skipped my nap today, so I'm a little off. Okay, so now going into some revising and editing. Yesterday we talked about capitalization and we're going to continue capitalization today. And so I told you all yesterday, you always capitalize the first word of every sentence. So great job doing that on your exit ticket. And then also you always capitalize proper nouns and names. So When it's proper, you capitalize it. Adding on to that today, you always capitalize the first word after a full quote. And so a full quote is basically a complete sentence, but it's in quotation marks. So, for example, Sarah happily said, "We are going to visit Paris in October." She is a road traveler. So, "We are going to visit Paris in October" is a full quote. It's a full sentence that was said by Sarah. So, you're going to make sure you capitalize that W as if you were starting a new sentence, because technically you are. However, you do not capitalize partial quotes. And so, a partial quote is when you're only quoting just a few words that the person may have said, not the complete sentence. So, for example, instead of saying, "We are going to visit Paris in October," you could say, "Sarah happily said that she and her friend were going to visit Paris in October. So we booked our flights to join them." Here, "going to visit Paris in October" is in quotations, but you know that "going to visit Paris in October" is not a complete sentence. So you're not going to capitalize the G in going. Let's practice that just so you can see what that looks like. And so, you're going to correct the capitalization in each sentence that I show you right now. For example, when I asked her how her day went, she rolled her eyes and sarcastically replied, "What do you think?" So then you look at that and you say, "What do you think?" Is "what do you think" a full quote? Is that a complete response? It is. And so what you would do is you are going to make that W capital. Let's try one on our own now. Anthony did not hesitate to ask Josie to the dance because he felt like they were meant to be. And so here in quotes, we have "meant to be." Take a moment and ask yourself, is "meant to be" a full quote or a partial quote? And then, is there a correction here that needs to be made? I'll give you about 30 seconds. Okay, and so "meant to be" is not a full quote because it's not a complete sentence, and so the M here should not be capitalized. That's the correction that you should have made. It should be a lowercase m. Hopefully you understood that part. If not, you will get more practice with it as the week goes on and when you review next Monday. And so moving into our actual lesson for today, I'm just going to go ahead and extend on tone and mood, and we're going to add in diction. So just to refresh from yesterday, you remember this cute little picture here. Tone is the author's attitude towards the text, and then mood is the feelings that the reader gets from reading. And you all did a really good job understanding the difference between tone and mood yesterday, and so I'm not going to go too much into explaining it all over again, but you do need to know what diction is. And so go ahead and write this down. Diction is very simple. It's the author's word choice. Diction is literally the words that the author is using. So I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, why do you think diction is important? What do you think the connection is that diction has to tone and to mood? And so the connection that we have here is that diction helps us to figure out tone, and diction can also affect our mood. So the words that the author uses helps us to understand how the author feels. And then also the words that we're reading can affect how we feel about the text as well. And I'm going to show you on the next slide what that looks like. So you have a sentence here. You have two sentences here. The wind was howling as it viciously shook the trees. Doors began to slam and the thunder grew louder. I clung my blanket tight to me, hoping that my parents would check on me soon. And so take a moment in your notes and write down which words here stand out to you? Like, which words here are very vivid and kind of help you understand how the author is feeling? And then also, how do those words make you feel? Take about 30 seconds and just jot down the words that stand out the most to you. So it's not going to be the exact same for everybody, but like we all should have, similar words that do stand out to us here, vivid and descriptive language that we all notice. And so here are a few of them: howling, viciously, slam, thunder grew louder, I clung my blanket tight to me. So just looking at these words and phrases, this diction, what tone do you think the author has, and what mood does this sort of put you in as the reader? And so the tone that I at least notice is that the author seems to be scared. It's sort of suspenseful, and they even seem anxious, just, hoping that their parents would check on them soon. And that sort of puts the reader in an anxious and scared mood as well, because of that vivid language and that diction that is used by the author. Let's try one more. She laid on the beach with her eyes closed, listening to the soothing sound of ocean waves, soaking up the warmth of the sun, and enjoying a fresh glass of lemonade. And so take a moment and write down which words here stand out to you, and create sort of the tone and mood of the sentence. Which diction here stands out? And so some words that may have stood out to us here are soothing, warmth, and fresh. And so what tone does that create? What tone do you think the author is writing from? How do you think they feel at this moment? So you may have put that they feel relaxed, that they feel happy, maybe at ease, maybe calm. Lots of things you could have put here, but this is an overall good tone, positive tone, which would put the reader themselves in a calm or a relaxed mood as well. Take a moment and get that down in your notes. Okay, and so we're going to go into some independent practice. So hopefully you define those vocab words because you are going to need them. So you're going to go into the general tab, assignments, and you're going to go into the April 22nd assignment. This assignment is due tomorrow at 11:59. I'm going to go ahead and start giving you more than 24 hours. So I post assignments at 8:30 a.m. and you have until essentially midnight the next day to turn it in. So we should have no excuses because you have over 24 hours at this point, to get your assignments turned in to me. Let me go ahead and show you this assignment for today, just so I can clarify any questions that you may have. And so if you go to Teams, you're going to go to the Assignments tab. April 22nd assignment, and you're going to read the attached story titled Home by Gwendolyn Brooks. Once you're done reading this story, then you're going to complete the worksheet on tone, diction, and mood. So here's the story. Here it says Home, Gwendolyn Brooks. It's a short story, you all. It's not even 3 pages. It's like 2 pages and then like 3 lines. So this will not take you long. It's a pretty easy read. And then you're going to look at this sheet here, on tone, diction, and mood. And basically, you're going to be looking at the plot or the problem in the story, and you're going to be telling me what is each character's tone towards the problem, And then what is the diction that you notice that helps you figure out that tone? So, what's the character's tone? You have three characters in the story. What's their tone towards the problem in the story? And then what diction helps you figure out the tone? So, you're going to actually put quotes here, like what words stood out that helped you figure out what their tone was. And then down here, you're going to do mood. So you're going to tell me like what mood does the story put you in? Which character, because each character has sort of a different tone. So which character's tone influences your mood the most? And then what diction did they use that influenced your mood? And then is there a connection? What's the connection? Is your mood the same as their tone? Or is their tone sort of put you in a different mood? And why is that? So pretty simple, fairly simple. It should not take you too long, but again, you do have over 24 hours to get that done. And so I just want to see you trying your best with that. As always, I'm online all day. If you have any questions, really push yourself to ask for help. Reach out and ask for help. That's what I'm here for. And so, that being said, have an awesome day, and let me know if there's anything I can do for you. Thanks, guys.